shot anticipation or shot control is a lot easier with a firearm because the explosion happens in the apparatus. It imparts recoil on you, but it's not actually, the explosion is in the apparatus. Whereas in archery, the explosion is in your body, right? It's that sudden release of energy that happens. So shot anticipation with archery is 100-fold what it is with a firearm.
What's also the amount of movement changes so much where the arrow goes, because it's not going as fast and it's subject to all your little tweaks.
All the little nuances of it. So all those motor programs that get linked to that punching of the trigger, that's what deviates our point of impact. So there I was at 8 years old, just loving archery, watching that arrow fly, but not good at it, right? And then I started bow hunting at 14 years old and not doing well. I mean, I was locked off target on these critters and missing and missing and missing. It took me 13 years to kill a bull elk with my bow because I couldn't handle it. I just would lose my shit completely.
Like many, many, many people.
Oh, it was horrible. So that was my background. So I've got this sounding board of bow hunting where I'm failing. I've got rifle hunting where I'm failing. And then I decided to become a cop, right? Well, before I was a cop, I was a wildlife specialist for USDA Wildlife Services, where I got to shoot stuff every day, right? Animal damage control, all that stuff. And I got to shoot stuff every day with an air rifle. So I was good, right? And shotgun shooting, good at that, right? But when it came to precision rifle stuff, again, I was worthless. I was not your guy to be on a coyote contract when you're having to shoot coyotes in the middle of a city with a suppressed 243, right? It just wouldn't work out for me because as soon as I would get on that thing, my only thought process was, it's going to get away. It's going to get away. So that would cause that anxiety, that rush, and you would rush the shot. So there I was. Then I decided to become a cop. My older brother was a cop. My mom was in law enforcement, so I decided to be a cop. And at the range, I knew that, when I turned 21, first thing I did was bought my concealed weapons permit in Washington, bought a pistol. And for some reason, that pistol always shot low and left. I'm like, what is the deal with these sights, right? It's always shooting low and left. So I get in the academy, and I bought a different pistol. I bought a 1911 that's got a much shorter trigger stroke on it. And I basically fixed a mental problem with mechanical means at that point, because I got through the academy starting to realize what I needed to do to control a shot. But with that pistol, it was easy. And my buddy was so bad in the academy with his Glock that he had to then, he bought my pistol from me, because that's the only thing that got him through the academy was buying my pistol from me. I bought another one. So we both fixed our mental problem with mechanical means. And I ended up taking first in firearms in my academy class, not knowing how I did it. But that's where I started to feel this love for instruction, because I got to help some people with it. And so things progressed. 2 years in law enforcement, then I got firearms instructor, and because I had this interest in firearms and kind of figuring things out. And then I got on the SWAT team, same time, 2003. So that's, I spent 18 plus years on the SWAT team and ended up being the sniper team leader and then eventually the team leader for the team. But it was becoming the lead firearms instructor for Washington State that got me the experimentation that I needed, because I was starting to figure out, how do I get somebody through a shot? How do I get a police officer to concentrate on a trigger press when it's the only thing that's going to save them or somebody else? And it came to me one day. It was just totally by accident, because I'd heard all the normal stuff in firearms instruction. Front sight, front sight, front sight. You stare at your front sight hard enough and things are just going to work out for you. Well, that just doesn't happen, because in most gunfights, most people will tell you they never even see their sights. So I had this recruit that we had one in every class. We call him Nervous Nelly, right? I mean, this guy was just super anxious, and you can tell the different personalities that people have. Just when you put a gun in their hand, they're nervous. And this cat, all of his movements were super fast, and he was just a jittery dude, right? Nervous Nelly. And he's shooting 20 yards, and he's bouncing bullets off the floor at 15. So his rounds are hitting the 15-yard line. And I'm like, oh, my God. It doesn't put a lot of confidence in the police force. So I go over to this kid, and I call him a kid. He was probably, 8 years younger than me or whatever. And I get on the driver's side of his pistol. I'm looking at his finger. I'm like, okay, I want you to press the trigger just to the pressure wall. Don't make it go off. He's like, okay, yes, sir. And as soon as I got done with that instruction, his finger moved, right, to the pressure wall. I'm like, okay, start pressing the trigger, but don't make the gun go off. And so as soon as I saw his finger move, I'm start talking to him. All right, keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing, keep pressing. And as I'm watching his finger, I'm looking at this and I'm like, it's moving at the same rate I'm talking. And he's working through it, and all of a sudden, bow, it goes off as a surprise right through the 10 ring and the target. He's like, sir, that scared the crap out of me. I'm like, yeah, it's supposed to. So then the next time he shoots again, and I changed my cadence of speech, which changed his cadence of movement. And that's when the light bulb went off for me. I'm like, okay, we got to figure this out. I had complete control of this kid's mind at this time.